It's time for that big ET Now exclusive as 2013 draws to a close with the markets witnessing a stellar rally in the second half of the year and a brush with new highs. Big bull Rakesh Jhunjhunwala says his top his top investment ideas for the year ahead. He also believes that the markets are poised for a bull run in 2014. Here's an excerpt of that exclusive conversation with Nikunj.
The indices have gained. I think more than indices, individual stocks have gained. And especially in the last 1 month, market is finding a lot of breadth. If you want to buy any stock in quantity, shares flare. There are shares which have doubled and trebled in December. So I think if luck is on our side, the stage is set for some kind of a bull market.
Now, the economic condition for India surely has improved. So awful has become bad. It has not become good. Rupee is settled. CAD problems are behind us. But inflation is still sticky and we don't know where our earnings had headed. So are you getting a sense the upside also could get restricted?
No, but there are two segments of the market, especially in pharma and in software, where the markets are largely outside India. And the currency depreciation has really helped them. So I think for those companies, they are not affected by Indian conditions. And then there is, I would say, I don't know how good and how fast the recovery will be. But at least I think some kind of a bottom has been made in Indian financial conditions and in the Indian economy. But I don't agree with you, Nikun, that we have seen the last of the CAD problems. Because, you cannot artificially curb gold imports beyond a point. But I'm hopeful it will happen because the depreciation of the rupee should by itself lead to a large growth in exports and some compression of imports. Having said that, I think markets have their own unique intelligence, right? In the mid-cap, the stocks are beaten out of, like you were saying for the last 1 year, it is like, a thief selling shares. And that had to correct someday. I think in a large cap, I am not surprised with the valuations. I think in most of them it is justified, right? And therefore, I think we are on a good base. There is disbelief, there is lack of participation. There are major events which are ahead of us. The currency movements, most importantly the election. How these play out is going to be a very important factor.
With all the hum and drum, Mr. Jhunjhunwala, Nifty this year is up by only 6%. Do you expect 2014 could be a big year for the Nifty as well?
Don't look at the Nifty in isolation. The Nifty has gone nowhere from 2009, 2010 to 2013. But TCS is up 8 times. I mean, a liquid stock like TCS, you could buy stock for 200 crores in a day. And it's up 8 times. So there are so many intra-differences in the Nifty. Right? And now that is spreading. It's spreading to mid-cap software, mid-cap pharma. And what happens that my late friend Rajiv Shah used to say, ki sab nafe ka daru hai. So when a person buys a stock and he gains, then he tends to spread his purchasing. So I think we are in that initial stage. I'm not sure and I cannot say 100% that we will surely have a bull market in 2014. It will depend on events play out. But I'm optimistic.
But do you think the polarized nature of the market is changing now or has already changed? Because we've seen a very polarized market in the last 3 years. 10, 50, at max 50 stocks have done well.
I don't think, the polarized nature will change in the sense that, it's not that today ITC has a high valuation, but ITC performed as a company. TCS has a good valuation, Infosys has. So, it's not that the companies who are undeserving who have got all these valuations. And obviously when the gap between all these performing companies and the non-performing one becomes too high, and there is a sense in the market that the non-performing will improve, then the gap will dramatically narrow.
The reason why there is a gap is because there is a gap in earnings as well.
Gap in earnings, there is a gap in risk profile, in corporate governance, right? So there is not one factor.
Let's talk about the key central theme for Indian markets for 2014, and that has to be elections. There is an innate feeling that NDA will come back and we will have Narendra Modi as the next Prime Minister. Even if the best case scenario pans out, which is Narendra Modi becomes the next Prime Minister, do you think that may not be a needle-moving event?
See, if it is expected that he will become Prime Minister, it will be priced in by the time he becomes Prime Minister. So the needle-moving event might have happened before the results. But the question is that will he succeed? Will he be able to bring change? I think one thing is sure, that he'll be able to bring immediately a lot of confidence and therefore a lot of investment into India. Now for him also to do things and bring change will take a year, 2 years. We'll have to have patience, right? And I have believed that he will do well. He's a practical person, right? There is a lot of low-lying fruit in the economy. See, even now this APMC matter is hanging fire for 10 years. I mean, for no reason food is getting costly because of that. See, there's all small steps which can be taken without any difficulty. And in India, small steps, if taken properly, always mean large steps.
But what happens if we get a fractured mandate? Could we see a 2004 kind of a situation, markets go circuit down?
See, I'm very hopeful I will not get a 2004 type, because you look at the recent elections, the BSP and the DSP has been wiped out. They've lost vote share in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan and Delhi, right? So I feel it will be an election where the regional parties will not perform very well. I mean, I don't personally see the non-NDA, non-UPA parties getting more than 150 or 120 seats.
So let's not shift away from really local issues to global issue. And exactly 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when I interacted with you on this forum, this was after S&P had downgraded US economy. You said US economy will bounce back, and it has indeed managed to bounce back. US, which was considered to be the biggest liability, is now considered to be the biggest growth engine for 2014. What does that mean for India? What does that mean for flows?
I think it means very good for India, for Indian exports, especially software. It also means, it doesn't mean that, the US will grow, India will not get money. India today has far lower allocation of institutional money than it should have had, right, as a percentage. So I think flows in India will depend more on what happens to India than what happens to America.
So all the tapering fear, do you think that is more like a storm in a teacup?
Well, I don't think it's a storm in a teacup, but market is expecting and preparing for it. And money flows are not coming just because somebody is printing money. And I, for one, don't think that they will remove the tapering very easily. They have started, but they will be watching the data very keenly. Of course, America grows 4%, then they'll remove it. The tapering will have some effect, but if local factors counter it, I think we would still have a very good market. One thing I can tell you from my reading of the screen, what I've done in life, this market is not going to go down easily. Because stocks are gaining, they don't lose. Market's corrections are sideways. A stock goes from 1,000 to 1,400, then it corrects from 1,375 to 1,400, 1,350 to 1,400. Again it has a 200 rupee rise. Again it corrects 30, 40 rupees. So corrections are very poor. There is no force in the selling. Market has tremendous depth, and stocks, the pace at which they are gaining. I mean, looks like Tata Elxsi, they've gone double. Then TVS Motor. So the kind of return stocks are giving, it can't be without. Surely they say markets go up not because there is a abundance of buyers. Market go up because there is abundance of sellers. There is lack of sellers. So I think there is a lack of selling.
Because nobody owns equities.
I mean, other than the institutions, nobody. Not nobody.
So the short-term direction to your mind, which is let's say next 3 months, next 6 months, are markets headed higher?
See, if the market senses more and more that no, we are going to get a government which we want, whatever kind of government the market wants, then we'll inch higher. And depends on international events play off. But market is not, in my opinion, going to go down without a reason. There has to be a bearish reason for market to go down.
And that cannot be tapering.
So it cannot be. Tapering is expected and priced into some extent.
Okay, if I just look at the tone of your activity in 2013, you've been shopping and you've shopped aggressively in the mid-cap space. You bought Escorts, you bought Divan Housing Finance, you got First Source. Is it time now to really look at value rather than quality?
Well, I don't know what value and what quality. But if you think, there is quality and the value is much lower, or you think there is value and the quality is very good, it applies. So I think you got to look at stocks which you think have some inherent advantage, are very cheaply valued, are coming through from a trough to a cycle. And also what happens, like people feel tractor growth in India will be 10%. I feel they will be 15%. So when you are bullish on India, then you can be bullish on some stocks. So that is also kind of important factor in decision making.
Is that the reason why bullish on Escorts? You expect tractor sales to do well?
Well, let's not discuss. I mean, I think the external opportunity is going to be far greater than what people think.
You are bullish on IT, and you said if US economy will recover, IT will do well. Are you bullish on IT irrespective of the rupee movement?
Well, I am bullish irrespective unless and until the rupee goes back to 54, 55. Around 60, I think they will do very well. They will do very well. Around 57, they will do well.
But you like.
But one thing I started feeling now that the longer term, the longer term prospects of the software industry have just started. I mean, we used to wonder where, how can TCS employ 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people, now 3 lakhs. I envisage a day when TCS will employ 1 million people.
So you don't think large cap IT is a mature business?
It's a mature business, but growth is very good still.
So the big question for millions of viewers who would be watching this show is that how should they approach the market now? Last 5 years certainly have not been very big, equity has not been a big wealth creator. Do you think next 3 years could be much better?
Well, it will be a wealth creator, I am hopeful. That it will be better than, I think it will surely be better than real estate. Because although there is demand, there is no affordability in real estate. And I think gold is that may have broken the, I don't invest in gold and real estate. I think equities will give good return next 3 years.
But if earnings don't really come back, can a Modi government, can a global environment really change
Why
the
will
setup?
they not come back?
Well, there is stress at corporate level.
No stress at corporate, but that will be addressed. The environment matter is being addressed now. Right? And there are so many investments. You think of this industrial road, the freight corridor which they are making. It's one of the world's largest infrastructure projects. If we can, and just kick-started it. I mean, the kind of investment that can come into this country, what we need is confidence, nothing else. And I think that will come. And I think second thing we need is that I don't know whether we should subsidize or not, but I think we should subsidize much lesser and in a more meaningful manner. And don't forget that India's tax to GDP ratio is 40% of what the world average is. I mean, today in Brazil, 33% of GDP is taxed. In India, 13% is taxed.
A long way to go.
So there is so much potential here to raise revenues.
The other big trend for the year 2013 has been that the super cycle in commodity has got punctured. Everything has fallen down, excepting oil. Why is oil not falling when world has discovered shale gas?
Well, it's... There jarur and there nahi hai. It will have to fall. The fact that India has faced rising commodity prices every year in the last 8-10 years, but this year we haven't, is a good beginning. And India is going to be one of the largest beneficiaries of soft oil or commodity prices.
In 2013 was the slowdown in the consumer sector. What is your take on consumer stocks given the way how inflation is high, employment creation is not happening, savings rates are coming down?
But people are hopeful all this to reverse. They feel it is temporary. And I'm told rural consumer growth is very good. Rural consumption growth is very good, urban is not so good.
Is there a possibility that consumer stocks may just hang in there for another year or so?
Well, that could be a possibility also. After such stupendous gains, if they don't lose, very good.
But you don't smell or sense a bubble in consumer stocks?
Not at all.
Even stocks like Nestle, Glaxo Consumer, they're trading at 40 times.
Their promoters are buyers. Right? And they are aggressive buyers. So they have a floor.
So could agri be the big side theme for the market now?
Could be.
Is that the reason why you're bullish on both Escorts and Rallis?
Yeah, maybe.
So watch out for agri as a theme which is a small theme which could emerge as a big theme in coming years.
Absolutely.
I want to understand about Titan. Last time when I interacted with you, you said, look, the business model is coming under pressure, but you're confident they will revive. I read an interview from the management, and the management for the first time is admitting that the drop in gold prices is really impacting the return ratios. Do you think somewhere Titan has lost its charm? Have they lost their mojo?
I don't think so. Because I think that, Titan is going to remove undoubtedly the leader of the Indian gold market, ready market. And there is going to be a big shift from unorganized to organized, right? So after, 5 years of stupendous growth, 1 year of no growth, I'm not worried.
They're moving into perfumes. Isn't that destruction of capital?
Not at all. So it's a huge, if you succeed, the return on equity can be 40-50%.
So the slowdown, what some of the consumer companies are experiencing, to your mind, that's again cyclical. If economy comes back, retail spending will automatically come back?
Absolutely.
What's happening with US FDA? Do you think it could be trouble for Indian pharma companies?
First of all, I don't think that they are trying to take revenge on Indian companies or trying to ensure that Indian products don't go. So you have to follow the norms. I mean, what we did in Wwatch's case was shocking, actually. So I don't think that, they are trying to, they have any motive or they are trying to specifically or, trouble somebody.
But you're confident of Lupin as a business?
I am a shareholder.
Even though it's a mature business?
Yeah, but they are having very good growth.
In 2014, Reserve Bank of India will also award new bank licenses. How will that change dynamics for the banking sector?
I think it will make things more, you already Government of India is owning 14 banks. Then there are other 7-8 other big private sector banks. I don't know why you should issue free liquidity, but even if they do it, it's not going to change much. But there is scope for banking, that you need not necessarily do business by taking my share. There's enough on the table for everybody.
So your investment thesis for Federal Bank and Karur Vysya Bank, because of intensive competition, will not change?
Not at all.
What about PSU banks? You always call them as smart trades. At the current juncture, is there a tactical trade in PSU banks? Because if inflation gets fixed, yields will come down. The minute yields will come down, treasury income will go up.
Oh, there are too many ifs there. No? I think the time to buy is when you feel that the NPS cycle has peaked, which I see no sign. And the bank chairmen themselves are saying that second quarter was bad, third will be more bad, and fourth will be worst. So unless all these restructured portfolios are cleaned and...
every time Rakesh Jhunjhunwala opens his mouth in public or in media, people expect a big call from him. So what is your big call for 2014?
Well, I think I gave an 80% chance we'll go into a new high. And new high means you have to go from 6,300 to wherever you go 6,800. Then when you correct, you should not go below 6,300. Just going from 6,300 to 6,800 is not really a new high. You should at least gain 5-7% of the last high. And when you correct, you should not break the last high. So you will be making higher highs and lower lows from the last high. That will be a real new high.
Is that how you positioned as well? To capture this kind of an upside in next 12 months and next 15 months?
I'm bullish here. Bullish, fully invested, in debt. How else can I grow?
Oh, so you're ready to borrow and invest also?
Yeah, I have borrowed and invested.
One thing which has always intrigued me is that when anyone is making a large investment, they sit over it for days, weeks and months. But some of your biggest investments, you've just done them in a jiffy. Matrix you decided in 2 hours, Divan Housing over 2 meetings, Escort in just 1 meeting, Titan in 2 days. How do you make big investments in a jiffy?
Well, I look at the broader picture. The broader picture is much more important than the line-by-line analysis. See, we invest in the future is uncertain. Right? So you have a broad analysis. If you look at Divan Housing and the valuation, I think there was not much to decide there.
Are you bullish on only Divan Housing, or are you bullish on the entire housing finance business? Because housing
finance business, I'm very bullish on it. But if you look at the way DHFL was valued, and it has a niche for loans below 12.5 lakhs, which is the fastest growing sector, and the market is at least 500 times what it is today. Right? The market has only 2%, 3%. You have scratched the market. And it's growing every year. And they have a niche there. And they're a large company, available at 50% discount to book.
But if real estate comes under pressure, maybe the housing finance business could slow down.
You are not going to get houses less than 2.5 lakhs under pressure. Then there could be a pressure a year or two, so what?
You're ready to live with it?
Yeah.
Are you happy with the way Delta has bounced back? Not the price, but the business. There was some volatility in the numbers, but the Q2 numbers were strong. I'm getting a sense that the new ship is also working for them.
Yeah, they've done well. I think it's only the beginning.
It has a long way to go.
Long way to go. They have a casino at Daman, I think, also coming up.
Why are you so bullish on Tata Motors? That is something which is always surprising.
Because I think Tata Motors is going to be a world leader in luxury cars. You look at the quality of the products, no product is available. And I think this year they will sell 4,75,000 Land Rover and Jaguars. I think this figure will go to 7.5 lakhs.
The fact they keep on expanding, sometime in China, sometime in Brazil.
What's wrong in it? They have to capture the market. I think the investment is perfectly legitimate.
Other Indian auto companies don't have a debt. This is one company which just keeps on borrowing.
No, but the question is, it has earnings also. No? And I think it will be providing for 9,000 crores of depreciation next year. And I think I see a year when they will earn 25,000 crores.
Any regrets that you bought SpiceJet? Indian aviation industry just never improves.
Well, why are you making my evening sorrowful here? I made a mistake, I'm still learning on.
But one good investment has been First Source. Pure valuation call?
Also a business call. Because I thought with the rupee going up, nobody was talking about the BPOs. And I think I met the management, they're doing well now. I'm bullish.
Rakesh Jhunjhunwala has been in the markets from 1985. Has there been a single day in your life when you've not looked at the markets?
I look at the markets even in my honey. So I can't say. They are my life, my passion. I feel happy, looking at the markets, talking about them.
So there will never be a day in your life when you will not look at markets or not talk about markets?
Probably, I think.
What is the day like in Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's life?
Nothing. I'm in the office either by 10 or by 12 or by 1 o'clock. Then 3:30 market, 4 o'clock. I have lunch 3:30 and then meet some people, talk to some people. 7:30 home.
But you've started reaching home very early rather these days.
Yeah, my children are there.
So how will things change for Rakesh Jhunjhunwala in the run-up to 2020? Because your entire grand plan is centered around 2020.
Well, I hope my health improves. This is my greatest worry. And I think nothing else is going to change. I bought a new house, maybe I'll shift.
For someone who's never invested outside equities, how come you made such a large investment in a house?
I bought it to make a house here. It's not an investment, it's a need I have.
But you're still fairly okay to allocate 99% of your wealth to equities.
Yeah, absolutely.